At approximately 4 a.m. this morning, members of the CPS located the bodies of a woman and child in Kananaskis. Although formal identification must be made by the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, we believe we have located the remains of 25-year-old Jasmine Lovett and 22-month-old Aliyah Sanderson. On behalf of the entire police service, we would like to extend our heartfelt condolences to the Lovett and Sanderson families. Jasmine would have celebrated her 26th birthday last week, and this is truly a tragic loss. Earlier today, a man was taken into custody and charges of second-degree murder are currently pending. The suspect cannot be named by the police until charges are officially laid by the Justice of the Peace. This is expected to occur later today or early tomorrow morning. However, I can confirm that the suspect is the same man who was taken into custody 2 weeks ago. This has been a lengthy and complex investigation. I will share what details I can with you, but please keep in mind that our primary goal at this point is to see this case through the conclusion in court. And to do that successfully, we must maintain the integrity of the evidence and limit what information is shared publicly from this point on. What I can tell you is that we believe Jasmine and Aliyah were killed sometime between Tuesday, April 16th and Wednesday, April 17th. We believe their bodies were subsequently transported by the suspect to the Grizzly Creek area sometime between Wednesday, April 17th and Saturday, April 20th. We believe the suspect and Jasmine were in a relationship, and this was a targeted attack motivated by domestic-related matters. I appreciate that you still have lots of questions about the timeline, the evidence that led us to locate their bodies, and the motive for these murders. Please call the Homicide Tip Unit hotline at 403-428-8877 or provide tips anonymously through Crime Stoppers.
With the search having been off for so many days, are you able to speak at all about what led officers to the area of Grizzly Creek?
I can tell you that the investigative process picked up momentum over the last few days, which led us to locate the bodies early this morning.
Was there a lot of snow up there? Like what kind of conditions were the searchers having to deal with today?
The area where the bodies were located did not have as much snow as the Bragg Creek area.
Were officers working through the night then to discover at 4 a.m.?
Yes.
Had that been going on for a number of days prior?
Well, since Aliyah and Jasmine were reported missing, I can tell you that officers have worked every day to bring this case to a successful conclusion.
But searching like through the night?
I wouldn't say searching, but investigating. And through the investigative process, we were confident that bodies would have been located.
Can you just clarify, clarify what you said, that you believe the suspect and Ms. Lovett were in a relationship?
Yes.
Can you just say what could have gone wrong? You said it was a domestic.
Yeah, and I'll just leave it. It was a domestic relationship which deteriorated over a period of time.
Why are police still outside the house?
Obviously, we're still investigating, and it will be up to the investigative team to determine if further search warrants will be executed at the residence.
Was the vehicle ever returned to the suspect?
It's still in police custody, pending further warrants.
Have tips from the public been helpful to you guys in this?
We have received over 250 tips from the public, and obviously the tips have been combed through, and we encourage anyone with any information to call police.
And is he the only suspect in the case?
Right now, we have determined that there are no other alternative suspects.
You've talked
Well, obviously, I think I mentioned in the first press release that there are a lot of similarities in this case to other domestic homicides that our officers have investigated. I can tell you that the officers that were in Kananaskis last night obviously had a very difficult time when they discovered the bodies.
When was the last time you were in conversation with the Lovett or Sanderson's family?
We're in daily conversation with the victims' families
And at what point did you contact them?
before we let the media know. Yeah.
So how much similarities have been established between this case and the case of Talia, who was also, I guess, murdered by...
Well, I think when you look at motive, deteriorating relationships, domestic violence, you'll find some similarities.
Can you talk about potential charges? Like, would this be first-degree murder or second?
So obviously, we're in daily conversation with the Alberta Prosecuting Service. Right now, the evidence we have supports second degree. That certainly can be amended by the Crown at any time.
Do you have a crime scene then in Calgary? Is it the man's house, suspects?
Sorry?
Do you have a crime scene in Calgary? Is it the suspect's house or is it another location?
We have obviously executed search warrants to gather forensic evidence at the Cranston home, and currently we have crime scenes in Kananaskis.
Are there any other charges apart from second-degree murder that you're exploring?
Right now, the charges that we are pursuing are in relation to the homicides of Jasmine and Aliyah.
So more than one, more than two?
One charge of homicide for each victim.
Can you talk about, you said it gained momentum, can you give a timeline as to when that happened? Was it a tip from the public or was it just investigated?
I think the investigative process gained significant momentum over the last few days, and we were, certainly satisfied to locate the bodies. But at the same time, obviously, it's a very sad feeling when you have to notify the families of that.
Any other questions?
Can you just provide a bit of a summary in terms of the police resources spent on this investigation from start to today?
Well, it's obviously extremely significant. Initially, a lot of the concentration of the resources was to exhaust the footprints of life for Aliyah and Jasmine, which we did earlier on, which led us to believe this was a double homicide. And from there, obviously, we worked with a lot of partners, the RCMP, Search and Rescue, Fish and Wildlife. There's probably too many to name, but certainly we wouldn't have been able to locate the victims without a huge team effort. And the most satisfying thing is to provide some closure to Aliyah and Jasmine's family.
Can you just walk through those dates, just one last time,
Sure.
when they believed to be killed and when they're believed to have been transported?
So we believe that Aliyah and Jasmine were murdered the evening of the 16th or the early morning hours of April 17th. And we believe their bodies were transported to Kananaskis between April 17th and April 20th.
So sorry, do you believe that the murder occurred at Cranston home or somewhere else? Or?
We are still waiting for forensic results to come back from the RCMP crime lab, which has been really fantastic. They're expediting our submissions, so we still have to wait for results.
Can you say how long you would be out in Kananaskis for estimating?
It's a large area, and obviously the topography is challenging. We have unpredictable weather, and currently we have bears in the area, so we're working with Alberta Parks to make sure all our members are safe.